Hello, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the inaugural episode of Coffee and Conversion. So we had a bit of a trial with live streaming a couple of weeks ago when I joined the business, a few weeks ago now actually, and it went really well. And we really enjoyed it. We got some good feedback, so we thought, right, let's do this again. So it's going to be fairly informal. The idea is that we've got a few things to chat about amongst us, and it gives you a chance to get to know who the people are behind the brand. But also, if you have questions, so if you're an existing customer, perhaps you're trialing Sales Builder at the moment and you'd like some help, then we're happy just to dive in. We can take this wherever you like, really. So if you want to see a particular area of the product, we've got everyone that you need within this team right here to help you out. So good time to introduce everyone. So let me bring everybody in. Hi, guys. How you doing? Let's check all the microphones are working and stuff.
Morning, James.
Testing 1, 2.
Morning. Good afternoon.
Test. Lovely. Got everyone here. So we've got Ryan, head of marketing, Victor, just in charge of everything. So Bram, customer success, and we've got two new valuable team members, Tyler and Tom. So I thought a nice way to kick this off would be to get a bit of an introduction. Sales Builder is growing really fast and expanding in all areas of the business, and it's brilliant to have better representation across the pond. You guys are obviously over there in the States. Tyler, do you want to kick us off? Do you want to give us a bit of a background about yourself and let people know a bit about you?
Sure. Thank you for that intro. So I've been in the channel for a little under 10 years. I'm married. I have 3 boys. They are 7, 5, and 2. Their names are Gage, Bear, and Wit. They are my everything. So most weekends are spent with the family. I coach their soccer team, and I'm currently teaching my youngest how to swim. If you've ever done that, you know that it's very difficult.
That's long and painful. Yeah. But you get there eventually, in my experience.
Yeah. There are more tears than smiles right now, but I hope to flip that around sooner rather than later. But I'm a family man, and I think what really attracted me to Sales Builder was the potential impact to really, create more efficiency within the MSP community. So really excited to get started, loving what I've seen so far, and just can't wait to, keep it rolling.
Whereabouts are you in the world, Tyler?
So I'm in Florida. I'm in a little place called Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. And if you're a golf fan, I live 5 minutes from the TPC Sawgrass, which is where the Players Golf Tournament is. They refer to it as the 5th major. So if you're a golfer, you are well aware of where I live. So it's a bunch of golf enthusiasts. But me, I'm not a golfer. I played tennis in college. I'm an avid tennis player. Really love that. I love soccer, or football, as some people on the call would refer to it as. But that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Excellent. That's great, Tyler. And that's another active person making me feel bad. We've already got Glenn, who's like hyper competitive, although he's not on the call today. Thanks for that, Tyler. Tom, perhaps you could introduce yourself as well. That'd be great to hear from you too, if that's okay.
Yeah, I appreciate it, James. Yeah, I've been at Sales Builder. I have the privilege of being here for about 3 weeks now. Excited about the product and future development of it. Currently, I'd worked at Datto/Kaseya for about 13 years. And I really love the true startup environment, which we're at right now at Sales Builder. Really collaborative team. We get a lot of momentum going really quickly here. A little bit personally about myself. I live in Fairfield, Connecticut. I have 2 teenage boys who are 15 and 14, Brady and Charlie. So I'm going through the trials and tribulations of raising those boys and realizing how I used to be at that stage, which is an interesting introspective, I guess. And my wife here as well. We really, they both play lacrosse. That's kind of their big sport here in the States. And I personally played, football or soccer in college as well. And a little disappointed neither of them kind of went that side of that sports, but it is what it is. So, but excited to get going and really launch the product here in the States.
Yeah, you have to let them find their own way. So give me a bit of an insight into your sales approach. If people are going to be talking to you, Tom, what can they expect?
really, I really think it's about the relationship, right? I mean, I hate the old adage, like, people buy from people they like, and I've developed a lot of relationships over the years in the channel, and I think that's important, right? The product speaks for itself, right? Really simple, really powerful product, powerful tool that they can use internally. So it's about the relationships, to be honest with you, and looking forward to building that and bringing in the team when we need them. I like to be agile and bring in, Victor if we need him, or Ryan, or Bram, or yourself if we want to do some marketing campaigns. It's important that we have access to all you guys.
Excellent. Yeah, it feels like we've got a strong team in all the right areas, which is fantastic. Excellent. Thank you so much for that, guys. Appreciate that, putting you on the spot there. So there's plenty going on at the moment, and we could probably do a whole session just on the roadmap. But one of the things that I know there's a lot of buzz around at the moment is the white space module, because it's an area where, well, you can't really go to many shows without hearing advice around, you should be thinking about what money is within your existing customer base, not just how can I get new leads, net new customers. And there's a wealth of it in many different forms. So we've got something that we're working on at the moment, which you can actually use right away. But I think rather than me talk about it, Victor, I think you're probably the best person to chat about this. Do you want to give us a bit of an overview of what it is and a sort of sneaky preview? Because it's not fully launched yet, is it?
It isn't. No, I'd love to. So I mean, sales is according to some reports, and one of the most important challenges at MSPs right now, being able to sell. So both acquiring new customers, but also selling more to existing customers, right? And that isn't an easy task, because it's hard to get a visual on your customer landscape, and also hard to see what they bought and what the opportunities are within that customer base. So we have been working on a module, and might be good to share my screen here. Let me pick up the right one. Now, tell me if you have a visual.
We can see that perfectly. Yeah.
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 So what's that white space area about? I'm going to flip to here. Basically, what it is, it's a visual overview of all of your customers. You have rows of customers, and then you have columns of the services that you sell. So you typically inside your PSA, you sell recurring subscriptions. Can be software, can be services, and they're typically grouped in service categories. And the white space module shows you the categories that you have, and this is a visual. So the rows are the customers, the columns are your groups of services. And what it does, it paints a picture. So green is basically all if a customer has bought services inside that service grouping, and the amount of revenue that produces. There's one column giving you the total monthly revenue of the customer, so you can focus on the biggest ones first. And it also shows you the gaps. So where are the opportunities? Everywhere where there's a white spot is, in essence, something to explore. Could be a good reason why you haven't sold there yet, but it's something you want to have a look at, especially for your high margin services. Now, when you click a green tile, it shows you the active contracts of your customers. So you can see the services, you can see the revenue, you can see the quantity, and you can also see if you're over or under billing. Overbilling is fine, underbilling is not. So when you're under billing, it will show up in red. Now, there might be a good reason. Maybe you gave them a discount, but it's a price that's lower than your list price today. So it's very actionable. It shows you where to look and how to take action. Now, the other cool thing is, if you see an opportunity and you want to sell a specific service, what Sales Builder enables you to do is take action. So you can say, I want to sell, for example, here's a fiber connection, and it shows you all the white spots and creates a blue tile. You can click it, select a template, and it will add that service and create a proposal and an opportunity for that service. But it doesn't stop there, because you can filter for specific services, right? Because sometimes you want to sell a service and an add-on to an existing service. For example, let's say you want to sell SaaS protection to customers who have Microsoft 365. You say, I want to sell SaaS protection to customers who have 365, and it shows you what customers qualify for that scenario. And if you see a yellow tile, that means there's an open opportunity with that service. Now, on the left side, you have all kinds of handy filters. So you can filter on specific service category. So that means show me all my customers that have services within the category hardware as a service, for example. And it shows you only those customers. And they can be exported. The other one is you can filter for a specific account manager. So if you have a team of account managers, they can select their name, or the manager can select their name, and you can see only their customers. And they can focus on their patch and see where the opportunities are. The other thing that it does, which is also relevant, is it shows you upcoming renewals. So you can filter for contracts ending in this year, this month, or this quarter. You pull it up, you can see the specific contract that is nearing its end, and you can then action that by creating a proposal, a renewal proposal for that customer based on their existing services, to act upon that before it will expire.
How do you tend to communicate this stuff, Victor? So when you spot opportunities, what's the general kind of process do you think MSPs will go through? Because sometimes it's not always appropriate, is it, to just fire out a quote? Sometimes it is.
Exactly. So yeah, that's a good point. So I think you want to be proactive instead of reactive. So you don't want to act when a contract has expired. You want to act 3 months before, right? So when there's 2-3 months before the expiration date, that's when you want to raise a flag and reach out to the customer and discuss the renewal. Another thing when it comes to like spotting an opportunity, and then, for example, if you want to sell SaaS protection to customers who do not yet have SaaS protection, you don't want to sell them a proposal cold, right? So you want to be able to send them an email raising their awareness that they're missing something that's essential, and laying out the reasons why that's important and why it's important to get that SaaS protection in place. And that's something we're also developing, is giving you the ability to label or email a customer or a group of customers based on an email template for a specific service that you have.
That's great. So you can almost you can kind of warm them to a degree. It's not a full marketing automation thing, is it? But to be able to do that as an account manager, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah, it's developing the opportunity. Exactly. I think that's very important. Yeah. And well, we're working on some stuff to finalize the functionality, such as sortable columns, so you can filter on what's my biggest customer to what's my smallest customer. Where will enable you to save notes, right, on the intersection of a customer and a service group. There might be a good reason why they're not purchasing a specific service. Like if you're selling, I don't know, hosting, and they're in contract with a competitor, you might want to take a note of that, so you're aware why that gap is there. So,
or they've got like a connectivity to someone who's got a serviced office where the connectivity is already taken care of, or something like that. Yeah, you need to make sure that's clear. What's the feedback been like so far then, and what sort of what's kind of, has there been any sort of feedback in terms of feature requests, or do you think it's
the requests are what you're looking at the screen? So that was feedback from customers where we discussed this with, and the feedback has been very enthusiastic, and what we're seeing that customers are doing today is either they do not do this white space exercise at a certain frequency, and the reason why is it's hard to get the data out in a simple manner. Normally what we see is they have a data warehouse, they export all the data, they then build a Power BI dashboard to get that information into a dashboard, and then sometimes you have a dashboard, but it's not always accurate or real time, and then it's hard to take action based on that dashboard, because there's no button to create a note or create a proposal or send an email. So what we did is not only give you the insights, but make them actionable. And that's a very strong point, especially if you're in sales. You just want to push a button and see what to do next and where to act upon.
I really like the focused nature of it as well. I think the fact that you can come in and your role pretty much revolves around this machine of, okay, right, when I get a new customer in and they adopt some basic services, and then I know exactly what I'm doing all the time because I've got this single pane of glass ready to show me.
And it's a nice recurring exercise that you can do, and you want to paint the whole board green, basically. That's unless
so
there's
however you're doing it.
Reason not to.
Yeah, exactly. So however you're doing it basically is, if you're not doing it, you should be doing it with a spreadsheet. I've got friends that I know do this sort of manually, and this will definitely help. But also, if you're watching this either the recording or you're live now, just let me know. So I'd be interested to know what you're doing. Are you familiar with this concept of white space selling? I think it's called a profit matrix sometimes, or gap selling. Be interested to know what you're doing currently. And whether you think that's a helpful feature. We can, of course, bring the comments in. So we've had this actually out at some shows and stuff as well. So we've had an opportunity to speak to people and get some live feedback, which has been good. It was a big hit actually at the recent. So we were at the Jennifer Bleem's IT Growth Conference, which I haven't got Glenn here to back me up because he was my wingman there. But it was really dominating proceedings. I've got to say, it was one of those things where people really get the software, but the standout part of it was white space. And it just so happened that once again at our conference, Jennifer, who's a sales expert, nothing to do with us, was talking through the white space selling idea. And actually, we've got a video on the YouTube channel. In fact, it's due to be published any day now, but a video on that as well, where she talks about how that works. So that's pretty cool.
I think so. Yeah.
So what have we got? We've got Ryan. While we're talking about events, we've got some stuff coming up, haven't we? Some big stuff that's keeping you very busy and
we sure do. Yeah. Not so much stress, just a lot of moving parts. But we're really proud to be exhibiting at DattoCon EMEA in Dublin next month. So last year it was our big first event as a business, and we had such a good time. We made a real impact, being so ingrained in Autotask as our kind of DNA for that first year. It was a real flagship event for us, and we're really proud to be part of it again this year. But a lot of moving parts, a lot of logistics, a lot of shipping. But when it all gets there, and the day before on the Monday when everything's there, we can relax and have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't help that I keep suggesting things and changing things at the last minute, but you do an amazing job with that.
Yeah, these things are all good ideas, and it's about making the most impact when you're there, right? So you need to make a good impression. What
do you think, so for an MSP watching this who hasn't been before, would you say it's one worth going, and if so, worth going to, and if so, kind of why? Is there anything that stands out? I've not been to a DattoCon before, actually. It's my first time. What's the kind of vibe there, and what do you get out of it?
Yeah, I mean, last year was my first time at DattoCon. I'd been to a few of the regionals before, one in Amsterdam, actually, where me and Victor rekindled a couple of years ago. But yeah, DattoCon itself is such a huge event. There's so many different topics, and the venue that they're running it in is the same as last year. It's the Dublin Convention Centre, I believe, just on the river.
That's very central,
but everything
isn't it?
Everything is so tightly knit. The space itself is brilliant. I mean, from an exhibitor standpoint, the footfall and the main hall where the food, the entertainment in the evening is all part of the same thing. So it's a huge event, but it does feel quite intimate. And then for MSPs going, I mean, if you've got that Kaseya stack, then obviously it makes total sense to go. But there's a lot of different opinions in there, like from different vendors. So it's not all Kaseya. There's a lot of other opinions, such as ourselves. You get a good mix from across the channel.
Yeah, and maybe also to add, like Tom said, people buy from people, but people also exchange ideas with people. And I think the whole the whole side events and the MSPs and all the people from the industry that meet with each other and share ideas and catch up and see face to face. I mean, that's where the real gold lies, in my opinion, because that's where relationships get strengthened and built. And I think that's where the magic happens across vendors, across MSPs, across industry experts. Everybody's there, and that's always nice. Like after the event, people go to the cafes or have a bite, or and that's where you build a relationship.
Yeah, I must admit, there was no expense spared last year, especially going to the Guinness Storehouse or the Guinness Factory, as it's called. Yeah, they put on such a good show, and it was a no-brainer for us to do it again this year.
That's really good. No, I totally agree on definitely on the community side. Sometimes it's hard to kind of imagine that's definitely going to happen, and to think, okay, well, especially if you're new to it, the power of building your network. Sometimes it's just not that obvious until you just go and do it. And it's like, because it's the chance encounters, isn't it? It's often in the corridors and stuff. But if you continuously put yourself out there, there's absolutely no doubt that it will pay dividends down the line. Because I mean, not just the conversations, but the network that you build, and as your career evolves, it's there's so much value. I've seen it, year after year. It's something that's definitely helped me. While we're talking about events, thanks for that, Ryan. Victor, I haven't caught up with you yet about CompTIA yesterday. How was so you did the Benelux CompTIA event? What did you make of that? You did get there, didn't you?
I did get there.
You did it right. Okay, good.
A lot of known faces, so I did a lot of catch-ups with people one-to-one. With the coffee machine, mostly.
Nice.
I sat in on some of the talks too. There was an interesting talk about how to build sales teams. There was an interesting talk of PAX 8.
Go and give some detail. Anything you can think of that stood out? Any like sort of bits of information you thought, oh, that's something.
I think what's one of the things was the state of the channel report, where what's important for MSPs, and what you see, it's a lot of talk about AI and generative AI services. And the only takeaway for me is like there a lot of people are talking about it, but it's still looking for the real value use cases for MSPs to be able to build a service around that and package it and price it and sell it and deliver it. That's something I'm very interested to see and keep track of what's happening in the space. I think it's a lot of exploration and discovery.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
And I still have to see the first real successful launches in terms of services based on AI.
Interesting. We've got a video coming out in the next day or so from as an interview I had with Corey Kirkendall from 5K Technical Services based in Dallas, and he's a big AI proponent, and he's doing it all within his business at the moment. So he's basically battle testing these systems. And I've just noticed, shout out to Corey, he's just basically got a partnership with a specific AI sort of consultancy firm for MSP. So we're going to watch that one with anticipation. Yeah, definitely. We'll put a link in the show notes to Corey's announcement. I can't find it now. I guess it's going to derail things if I try. Okay, wonderful. That's good stuff. So what else do we have? So guys, you've been waiting patiently. Brian, we had a chat earlier on. We were trying to work out, okay, what exactly would be, what feature could we do? Because you're like a fountain of knowledge, basically the person that's constantly talking to customers about how to get going with the platform, how to get the most out of it. So I thought what we might do, rather than just sort of download all your knowledge at once, maybe each week we're just going to get 3 tips from the front line. And there's a reason that the front line thing is relevant as well, so you might want to touch on that. But yeah, so what have you got for us? Did you manage to put some notes down on the journey back?
Yeah, so what I thought that I would like to share today is a little bit about maximizing profit. Most MSPs that I talk to face the same issue, that hardware doesn't have a lot of profit in it. It doesn't have the biggest amount of margins in it when you try to sell that. There's even some MSPs that are trying to move away from that because of it, even though that is kind of a waste because it doesn't need to be a profit drainer. And I think a big part of our tool really prevents the profit seeping away on that aspect. And I think most of the tips that I want to share today have something to do with that. So I'll just move a little bit in on that.
Very good.
I think the first one with that has to do with the categorization. I can share my screen in here. I can, right?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, go for it. You share it, and I'll get it up there.
Just see.
Let's give you the stage. We'll take it away from you.
Yeah, just need to. There we go. Now you can see my demo environment, I think, right? I didn't get a confirmation from you, James, but you can see it, right?
All right. Yeah, I can see it perfectly. Sorry. Yeah, I wasn't in the session for a second there.
Amazing. So I think a big part of where you can really help yourself is to think about what it is that you're selling and how you want to sell it to your customers. So as a quick example, if I were to look at the categories that we built in Sales Builder, this is one of our best practices. So we have a main category called desktops and laptops. And you can see that I have differentiated all my subcategories in terms of brand name. Now, the reason that I did that is because if I look, for instance, at HP laptops, and I go and I open it, I can select a couple of add-ons. Basically, what I set up here is that every time that I sell an HP laptop, I automatically include a workplace installation for that end customer. But
so that's a mandatory thing. So that on the quote that appears as a mandatory item.
Exactly.
Customer can't interfere with that.
That just means every time that a quote gets in with an HP laptop, the workplace installation gets added to that. Now, the next part of it is optional. So a docking station, a keyboard and mouse set, a screen, they will appear on the quote with a little checkbox in front of them so that the end customer can choose whether or not they want to have that. This will drive upsell and will, of course, at the same time, increase that margin that we were just talking about.
So it's increasing the margin in two ways. One, you're selling something else, but two, you're not spending your valuable time tinkering around with providing the options and going back and forth on whether they want it and stuff. Is that where you're coming from?
Exactly. That's exactly right. So if I, for instance, go to Apple laptops over here, then you can see that I have included different add-ons because for an Apple and an HP, you obviously want a different set to add with that. If you set that up once, and if you really think about the offering that you want to give to your end customers, and you're also going to standardize that, then it really helps you, as you're saying, in two different ways. First, to drive that upsell, and second, to make sure that you have already standardized it. You do not have to actually think about that. You don't have to click that in that quote. So that results that if you really set it up right, you're just going to have to go here, you press a quick quote, you add that HP laptop, and the rest will sort itself out. Now that is a good bridge to my second tip. Yeah, sorry, James.
Just a very quick one on that. Just on that before we move on. On the laptops front, do you find, from your experience, that customers tend to, or the better ones, are going to like a really small set of hardware, like a small, like just I'm just going to sell like 3 laptops from one brand, or is it still the case that they kind
yeah, absolutely. Like standardization is definitely key with these things. The more that you standardize, the more that the better that it actually gets your offering, and it will make things easier in terms of the rest of the process as well. Now, obviously, there will always be some examples of where you cannot do that. Like I have a lot of customers that only sell, for instance, HP. They'll only sell HP. But then every now and then there is an end customer that has some graphic designers that really need to do all of their stuff on Mac. And obviously, you're not going to say no. So there'll always be some edge cases. But that actually touches on a big chunk of something else that I wanted to touch upon, being set things up for the 90%. There will always be edge cases. There will always be this instance where something does not fit the plan that you have made. But if you set your system up according to the 90%, then you can always make some changes for that 10% when something needs to go different. But ultimately, if you set everything up and automate everything for that 90%, it will save you so much time that that 1 extra minute for that edge case will be fine at that point.
I love that. That's a really nice way to frame it. It's what we talk about all the time, but yeah, that 90% is such a good point. Yeah, great. So we've got add-ons. Make sure your add-ons and upsells are configured correctly. Limited. Make sure you've got a concise portfolio and gear up for the 90%. Yeah.
Then to make sure that you have that quote out very quick. Also, a big chunk of that is templates. So you're going to want to have your template be as, and now I'm talking about inside sales, okay? For like managed service agreements, that is always going to take up time. We can minimize that, of course, but that is never going to be like a sub 5 minutes quote.
Mm-hmm.
The inside sales, we kind of want to have that sub 5 minutes, because
which is where the benefit is, right? Because there's a lot of quantity. That's just it's frequency of those, isn't it?
Exactly. Like they're just coming in. You want to have them out quick. You don't want to spend too much time clicking everything together. You don't want to spend too much time configuring prices and stuff like that, because every minute that you spend on it is just cutting into your margin directly. So the next thing is really going to be specific for those inside sales agreements. And I'm just going to see if I have a quick example here. Yeah, just so you can really keep this super simple, meaning you can just have an introduction. Thank you for your trust. After our conversation, please see some products. Then,
sorry, excuse me. That's lost it. There you go. Straight back.
Amazing. So a simple introduction followed by some products, followed by terms and conditions, a summary, and the total terms and conditions. Then it doesn't need to be a lot more difficult than that, because in that manner, it is standardized. So you're going to have a very simple offering, being an introduction, the products, and the total. You can send it out. If you have that standardized, include that with those products that we talked about earlier, then getting beneath those 5 minutes to send out a quote is absolutely attainable. And that is something that I see with a lot of my customers, that you are able to get that to that sub 5 minute mark.
How much time do you reckon your customers are saving on average? Can you gauge it, like, roughly?
Yeah, so I actually wow, we're already in May. So in December, I went around a trip here in the Netherlands and visited a couple of our customers.
Oh yes.
And I actually talked to most of them. And I also asked them how much time they were saving by standardizing all of this compared to how they did it before. We actually got, just on top of my head, I don't have the exact numbers here with me anymore, but I think we got very close to a 70% mark just by standardizing a little bit on these matters, where some customers actually took very long to do this.
Wow, it's incredible, isn't it?
I'm talking about those fast quotes, right? Not the managed service contracts.
Yeah, that makes total sense. See, my being the guy who likes the sort of the fluffy stuff and the aesthetics, I'd be thinking, well, get a lovely cover page on that, and then you need your intro, and let's try and make it look brilliant. But actually, your customer probably just wants the basic information as fast as possible in those scenarios when it's just a laptop quote or something.
Yeah, like you'll be surprised like how many customers are still used, and I'm talking about end customers, right? How many end customers are still used to just saying on Gmail, hey, this is what I want, and here you have my approval. So when you send them a quote, it shouldn't be a lot more difficult than that. Otherwise, you're just adding to the barrier of them to buy from you. So you want to keep it as simple. You want them to open the quotes, see the products, see the total. You want them to be able to press agreed, and then you're good.
Fantastic. That's really good. Lovely. So I think we need to publish those 3 tips every week. Then we'll get them out on social media. We can make a bit of a thing about that, I think. Victor, have you got any thoughts on what Bram was talking about there? Anything to add at all in terms of what you see people doing quotes? Yeah.
I mean, I would add one tip, and that's also not everybody knows it, or some do, but is to link your building blocks to your templates. And I can also share my screen for 1 sec. Present. Okay.
Yeah, I can do that for you.
There you go. Oh, there you go. So if you go to the quote tab, and then here are your templates, right? So I'm going to pick standard quote English, and you can see there's a cover page already there. you can see there's an intro letter, and then you have the conditions, financial summary, and your attachments. Let's get it out. And here are your building blocks, your widgets, right? And these are basically all the ones you made here. So you can use labels to group them, so you can quickly find what you're looking for. You click in the label. And the cool thing is that a building block, a widget template, can contain services from your portfolio. So you have the content, your product description or your service description. You link the correct service from your portfolio or your products. And then if you go to that template and you go to insert that widget, let me pick the Jabra headsets. I drag it into my template. Now, what I do here, let's do it again, because I forgot to link it. There's a switch that says link this template. And if I use that and now drop it, this is now linked. You can see it here, linked widget. So the cool thing here is when I now edit that source widget, this template is instantly updated. So if you have building blocks widgets that you use in multiple templates, you only have to maintain it once, and you will update all the templates that are linked to it, including all the products that are linked in there. And that's a really effective and efficient way to make sure, like, your descriptions of your products and solutions are in line with your portfolio, and then linked to the correct template. So everything is tied together. And that plays into our philosophy of templatizing and standardizing everything that you have.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Where does the distributor link come into this in terms of the information that it pulls from a distributor? Because obviously you get the final say in what it says, but with those, say like a Jabra headset, for example.
Well, for example, if you now pick that template I just created, and I'll pick a customer and create that proposal, and we go into the proposal editor, and we scroll down to that section with the Jabra headsets. Now, here are the products I added to that template. And if I click any line item, they will show up here in the sidebar. And here is what you can see, like the distributor and their stock level, right? So it pulls in the cost price. It applies the category markup to calculate the sales price. And here, if you click that tile that says Incra Micro, it will show you your connected distributors that have this product in stock or unavailable. And it will show you the price. So you can see here also has the lowest price, but it's unavailable. So we pick Ingram that has available stock with a slightly higher price, but lower than BusinessCom in this case.
That's brilliant. And does that pull through the descriptions and things as well then, did you say? Is that going to bring through some of the...
So everything that is in your portfolio has its own product page, and it pulls in the images, the sales copy, specifications, and for some articles, when the vendor has published it, it also pulls in recommended products. So those are products like upsell for that specific item that you can have a look, and you can import that into your portfolio.
Oh, that's automatically populated based on what the vendor's got at their end.
Yes, but it's conditional on whether that vendor has provided that information.
Yes.
I said, okay, these products can be added to this part number specifically.
Got it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, well, we can dive into that plenty more. I'm sure there's plenty to be covered there. So we've got lots going on at the moment in terms of not just the product development, but also the some of the sort of content we're creating and stuff. So I'll just quickly share my screen. So I'd urge you to get over to the YouTube channel. You may be there already if you're watching this on YouTube. That's kind of where our hub is. So I definitely recommend subscribe, do the whole bell and notifications thing, and you'll get to know about any sort of live streams that are popping up, any new content. We've got a brand new explainer you might want to check out. That's 3 minutes just to really encapsulate at a high level what it is Sales Builder is all about, which you might find useful. If you're an existing customer, you might want to share it with your teams internally if they're not fully adopting it yet, or you want to show it to the sales team and sort of whet their appetite as to why maybe they might want to use it. I had a really good chat with Nigel Moore, who just stopped by the Ultimate IT conference recently. If you don't know Nigel, he runs the Tech Tribe, which is one of the biggest, must be if not the biggest MSP community worldwide. It's very much an online thing. They provide sort of templates and education, and the community is really strong there. So he's got around about, I think it's about 5,000 members now. So he had lots to say. He's a very busy man, but some great advice on not only insight on where the community is going, but also advice in terms of marketing that's working, because they do a lot of marketing templates and that kind of stuff. Ryan, I think you enjoyed that one, didn't you? Given it was a marketing focused thing.
Yeah, for sure. There were some really good points, and points that I think a lot of MSPs are neglecting, specifically with sticking to a specific vertical or really hammering a specific message and actually staying with it, rather than not holding the nerve long enough, because it is managed services is notoriously difficult to market for. I can say that because I've been a marketer at an MSP. It is very difficult, and it does take a lot of time, and it is a grind, but you just need to win that one or two every month. But yeah, a really good talk. Definitely worth one to listen to.
Excellent. Yeah, that's right. And I think the big takeaway was along those lines. So I won't ruin it for you, but yeah, go over there, check that one out. And there's plenty more content. We're trying to add as much as possible. I also had a really good chat with Mark Coatman, who runs Wingman MSP Marketing. He's got loads of experience when it comes to the marketing side, but also in terms of what should be in proposals and what makes for a good proposal. And we talked about the sales process follow-up. So just thought leadership stuff, not pushing product at all. So hopefully you'll find that useful. Okay, that almost brings us to the end. If anyone's got any questions, feel free. There's still time for us to dive into any particular part of the product if you'd like to. Obviously, you can check this out. It will be recorded straight away, so you can watch this again if you'd like. I think you can literally just rewind straight away on YouTube and LinkedIn. I will put, seeing as we started off with Tom and Tyler. So what's on your, so next week or so, if there's going to be people perhaps who'd like to have a chat to you, are you looking after specific areas? Are there particular types of companies that you would like to talk to? Is there anything you want to do a shout out for? Tom, maybe you go first.
Yeah, I mean, I particularly am handling the East Coast here in the States. So if there's people that want to get in contact with me on the East Coast, I will be your main point of contact, and really just targeting kind of any MSP that's looking to have a powerful tool for doing some sales operations for those guys. So
excellent, very good. And Tyler, so obviously not the East Coast necessarily. Are you looking to talk to any particular profiles of companies? Anything about the product that you think, I'm going to lead with that in my conversations, or I think this will help a particular type of company?
Yeah, so I'll be covering the Midwest as well as Florida. So anyone within those regions, please feel free to reach out. Just like Victor went over earlier, I think the white space is a wonderful tool. I think, being a sales rep, obviously having that at my disposal in terms of, cross-selling into existing things like that, that's a way to really just work more efficiently. So, very excited about that, and hope to, show that off for MSPs that really just want to modernize, the experience for their potential end clients in terms of quoting and prospecting and things of that nature.
Excellent stuff. And that just reminded me, actually, Tyler. So you can actually now, Victor, correct me if I'm wrong, you can now, when you sign up for a trial of Sales Builder, the white space module is enabled. So that's something you can do. So you can literally try it straight away. So you're on mute, I think, at the moment. But yeah, so so you can try it straight away. And that's something we'll be doing at DattoCon, is literally doing like a white space analysis right there on the stand. So we can just say, hey, look, here's all your products, here's all your customers, and here are the gaps. And it sort of shows you what profit you could be missing. So even if you're not looking to use Sales Builder, there's a tool there you can check out, and you can get some useful information and insight. Anyway,
yeah, and maybe to add, the white space is a module. It's an optional module. If you're an existing customer and you want us to demo it to you and show you the gaps in your customer landscape, reach out to us, and we're happy to turn it on for you and take you through it to show you what you can do with it.
Yeah, very good, very good. We're always on hand to obviously walk you through any aspects of the product. I think that'll be it for now, guys. We haven't got any questions come in at the moment. Either that or StreamYard's not giving me them. I don't know, but I'll have to fix that for next time if that's the case. Listen, thanks so much. It's been good. We've got a bit of a variety going on there, and hopefully we'll just keep iterating this, just spinning this up every week and answering questions and just sort of diving into different parts of the product and the business, so you guys get a little look behind the scenes. Any last words from anyone?
Well, thanks for setting it up, and thanks for everybody being here. We've been talking about this for a long time, and I'm glad we finally got it up. And I think the key is here is consistency. So every Thursday, same time, same place, we'll be here. We'll talk about what's coming. We'll give you some tips and tricks. And if you have questions, we'll go through the product and answer them.
Very good. That's right. As with your MSP marketing, consistency is the key. So much so, I'm actually on annual leave next week, but I will probably, I'll be tuning in anyway. I'll make sure I'm here, but I might well be in a caravan in North Wales, which isn't a very sunny place for those of you who know North Wales. So it could be an interesting one. We'll see, but we'll be there. So that's the main thing. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks, everyone. We enjoyed that. And yeah, we'll see you same time next week.
Amazing. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Have a good one. Bye.